Beloved, chosen one, there is something sacred happening in this very moment. Pause and take a deep breath. It may seem like a simple act, but this pause, this moment of stillness, is a sacred space where heaven has been watching you closely. And today, yes, today you have done something extraordinary, something that captured the very heart of God. Now, I want to remind you that this wasn't something grand. It wasn't a public spectacle for the world to see. No, it was far more profound than that. The action you took today may have felt small, insignificant, and maybe even unnoticed by the people around you. But trust me, heaven noticed. God, the creator of the universe, was smiling, and the angels. They stopped what they were doing to witness it. You see, heaven doesn't measure greatness the way the world does. The world celebrates loud, visible achievements, those that can be seen, heard, and applauded. But heaven celebrates something much deeper. Heaven honors the quiet, unseen moments of obedience, the moments when no one is watching, and yet you still choose what is right over what is convenient. When you act in faith, when your heart chooses to walk in love and obedience, even in the midst of difficulty, that is when heaven rejoices. Today you did exactly that. It might not have been a big act. Maybe you forgave someone who didn't deserve it. Maybe you chose kindness over bitterness, or refused to let your emotions dictate your actions. Maybe it was something as simple as saying no to a temptation in that quiet moment, or choosing patience when everything inside of you wanted to react. Maybe you prayed even though you felt like giving up, or whispered a prayer through tears when the weight of the world seemed unbearable. Whatever it was heard, it was seen, and it caused a ripple in the spiritual realm that you may not even realize. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to believe that the grand gestures are the ones that truly matter. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if we're not making a big impact, if we're not the ones on the stage, then our actions are somehow less valuable. But God doesn't measure your worth by the world's standards. Heaven celebrates the small, quiet moments of obedience because it's in those moments where true growth happens. It's in those moments that you are being shaped, refined, and prepared for something greater. The quiet faithfulness you show today will become the foundation of your destiny tomorrow. When you made that choice to honor God in the quiet places, when you chose peace over chaos, love over anger, forgiveness over resentment, heaven took notice. The angels in heaven who record every act of mercy and faith paused to witness your moment. And they stood in awe because even though it seemed small to you, it was monumental in the spiritual realm. You may not realize this, but your act was more than just a good deed. It was spiritual worship. It was a declaration that you are fully surrendered to the will of God. And that is what delights the Father most. God sees you. He sees what no one else sees. In a world where so much is driven by the desire for recognition and applause, heaven values what is done in secret. Jesus himself spoke of this in the book of Matthew, where he said, "When you give, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." It's not just about the action. It's about the heart behind it. It's about doing what is right because you love God, not because you expect anything in return. And today, chosen one, you chose to love God in that way. You chose to honor him in the hidden spaces where only he can see. This moment, while it may seem ordinary to you, was extraordinary in heaven's eyes. You may have thought it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't anything that special. But the truth is, what you did today was sacred. The small acts of obedience, the ones that no one else notices, are the ones that make an eternal difference. They are seeds planted in faith seeds that will grow and bear fruit in ways you cannot yet see. They are laying the groundwork for a life that is firmly anchored in God's will. Every time you choose to walk in obedience, no matter how small the action, you are building something eternal. You are laying a foundation for the destiny God has prepared for you. You see, it's not about the size of the act. It's about the sincerity of your heart. God doesn't ask for perfection, He asks for faithfulness. He asks for obedience. And today you proved that you are faithful. Today you proved that your heart is aligned with His will, and heaven took notice. This is why heaven rejoiced today, not because you achieved something visible, but because you honored God in the unseen spaces. You may not have seen the impact of your actions, but I can assure you that heaven did, and in that moment, something shifted in the spiritual realm. Something powerful was set into motion. Your obedience today is a seed that will grow into something beautiful. Heaven has recorded it, and it will never be forgotten. This is the beauty of God's kingdom. While the world rewards the loud and the visible, heaven celebrates the quiet acts of obedience, the ones done in humility and love. The world may not recognize your faithfulness, but God does, and that is what truly matters. Heaven is cheering you on, and God is smiling because you have chosen to obey even when no one was watching. That is the kind of love that moves heaven, and today, chosen one, you have moved heaven with your obedience. In the quiet corners of your heart where no one else sees, God is watching. The world may overlook these moments, these small, seemingly insignificant choices you make, but heaven never does. The truth is, God sees everything. Every thought, every whisper of kindness, every act of forgiveness, every prayer you offer, in the stillness He notices. And it's in these hidden acts of obedience, the ones that go unnoticed by human eyes, where the most powerful transformations take place. You see, in a world that thrives on recognition, where public acts of heroism and success are often the markers of worth, God's kingdom operates by a different set of values. In His eyes, the quiet decisions made in secret in the solitude of your heart hold more weight than the loud public displays of achievement. This is the heart of hidden obedience, the kind of obedience that honors God not for the applause it will receive, but because it is rooted in a love that seeks only to please Him. And in that, it becomes sacred. Every time you choose to forgive when you feel wronged, every time you show kindness to someone who may not deserve it, every time you resist the temptation to react in anger, you are planting seeds of eternal significance. You might not see the immediate impact of these actions. You might wonder if they really matter. You might even feel as though you are giving, loving, and living in a way that the world has forgotten. But I assure you, heaven has not forgotten. In fact, heaven celebrates your every act of obedience. Proverbs 15:3 reminds us that the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. This verse beautifully encapsulates the truth that God sees everything, the hidden, the small, the quiet acts that seem so insignificant to the world. These moments are far from insignificant in the eyes of God. They are powerful, and they carry with them an eternal weight that cannot be measured by earthly standards. Hidden obedience is the language of love that heaven understands best. It's the kind of love that is not driven by the desire for recognition or reward, but by a deep and genuine desire to honor God. It's the obedience that doesn't seek fame, but seeks to reflect the character of Christ. When you choose to forgive, even when you've been wronged, when you resist the urge to retaliate, when you choose to offer kindness and grace in a world that is often harsh and unforgiving, you are speaking the language of heaven. Heaven listens and heaven rejoices because this obedience is a reflection of God's love, pure, unconditional, and sacrificial. Let me give you an example. Think about the times in your life when you have faced deep hurt. When someone wronged you and everything inside of you wanted to lash out, to fight back, to make them feel the pain they caused you. But instead you chose a different path. You chose peace. You chose forgiveness. You chose to lay down your right to be right. and instead embraced the heart of Christ. You may not have felt like it. You may not have been ready to forgive, but you chose to obey even when it hurt. That obedience, that quiet act of letting go, is priceless in the eyes of God. The world might have seen it as weakness, but heaven saw it as victory. In that moment, you mirrored the heart of Christ, who forgave even when he was unjustly crucified. And then there are the moments when you are tempted, the temptations that come in many forms, the temptation to speak harshly, to indulge in something that will pull you away from your purpose, or to respond with frustration rather than grace. In these moments, when you resist the temptation and choose to follow God's way instead of your own, something profound happens. You may not see it right away, but in the unseen realm, a shift takes place. Every choice to walk in obedience, no matter how small, strengthens your spiritual muscles and aligns you more closely with God's will. It builds your character and deepens your relationship with Him. And in that, you are laying the foundation for something far greater than you can imagine. Every time you choose to do what's right, especially when no one is watching, you are building something eternal. These choices are not fleeting. They are not temporary. They are not wasted. They are investments in the kingdom of God. The act of obedience you make today in a hidden place may take years to bear fruit, but bear fruit it will. That forgiveness you gave today, that kindness you offered in secret, that prayer you whispered in the quiet of your soul, these are the seeds you've planted in God's kingdom. And God is faithful to water those seeds, to cause them to grow and flourish, even when you can't see the growth yourself. When you forgive someone who has hurt you, even when they don't deserve it, you are planting a seed of grace, and God will honor that act of obedience. That seed will grow into something beautiful, not only in your life, but also in the lives of those around you. It may not be evident right away, but in time you will begin to see the fruits of your obedience. Forgiveness brings healing. It breaks chains of bitterness and resentment, creating space for peace and reconciliation to flourish. Kindness, too, is a powerful act of obedience. When you choose to be kind to someone who has wronged you, or when you extend a hand of compassion to someone in need, you are doing more than just being nice. You are reflecting God's heart for humanity. God is kind and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in love. And when you choose to walk in kindness, you are mirroring the very nature of God. The impact of that kindness may not be immediately visible, but know that it is making a difference. It is changing hearts, softening souls, and opening doors to conversations that could lead to eternal transformation. Resisting temptation is another form of hidden obedience. Every time you choose to stand firm in your faith, to say no to the things that would lead you away from God, you are building something lasting. Every small act of resisting temptation strengthens your spiritual resolve and fortifies your character. And these moments, though they may feel small and insignificant, are preparing you for greater victories. God is refining you, shaping you, and preparing you for the future He has planned for you. And then there's prayer, perhaps the most hidden of all acts of obedience. Prayer is an intimate act between you and God. It's not for anyone else to see or hear. It's a quiet, sacred moment where you pour out your heart before the Lord. Prayer may seem like a simple act, but it is one of the most powerful forms of obedience. Every time you pray, you are acknowledging God's sovereignty, His power, and His authority over your life. You are surrendering your will to His, trusting that He knows what's best for you. Prayer is the act of aligning your heart with God's heart. And it is in those quiet, hidden prayers that God does some of His most transformative work. God honors these hidden acts of obedience. He sees them, He celebrates them, and He blesses them. These acts, though small in the eyes of the world, have eternal consequences. They build your spiritual legacy. They are the foundation upon which God will build the greater things He has for you. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to worry about when or how those fruits will come. You simply need to continue to walk in obedience, trusting that God will do His work in His timing. You are building something lasting with God, even in the moments when no one else is watching. In the end, it's not about how loud your obedience is or how visible your acts of faith are. It's about how pure your heart is in the moment of obedience. It's about doing what God asks of you, even when no one is looking, even when it costs you something, even when it doesn't make sense. It's about honoring God in the hidden spaces, knowing that those moments are shaping your eternity. And when heaven looks down upon you, it sees the beauty of your obedience. It sees the seeds you've planted, and it rejoices because it knows that those seeds will one day bear fruit, not just for you, but for the kingdom of God. So, chosen one, know this: your obedience, though it may seem small, is powerful. It is building something eternal. And God, in His great love and mercy, is pleased. Keep walking in obedience. Keep making those quiet choices of faith. Heaven is watching, and heaven is rejoicing with you. In the stillness of your heart, where the world is momentarily silenced, quiet obedience does its most profound work. It's in these unseen acts, often unnoticed by others, that spiritual maturity begins to take root. In a world that prizes outward success recognition and the tangible evidence of growth, it's easy to overlook the quiet inward transformation that is occurring in you. But make no mistake, this is where the true work of God happens. Every small act of obedience, when done in faith, is not just a simple action. It is a declaration of your belonging to God, a statement that your life is fully surrendered to His will. You may not always feel the impact of your obedience immediately, but trust that it is doing more than you can see. Spiritual maturity doesn't come from doing what's visible, loud, or celebrated by the world. It comes from the quiet moments when you choose to obey in the face of adversity, when you decide to walk in faith even when the road is uncertain. In those quiet moments of obedience, you are being shaped, refined, and prepared for the greater work God has planned for you. Every decision you make to follow God's will, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is a building block of spiritual growth. And though this transformation often happens beneath the surface, know that heaven is fully aware of it. God is watching, and He delights in your every choice to walk in His ways, no matter how hidden it may seem. Spiritual maturity is not an overnight process. It is a journey, one that is often marked by small, consistent acts of obedience. Each time you choose to follow God, even when it's difficult, you are strengthening your spiritual muscles. It's not about how quickly you can accomplish things or how loud you can proclaim your faith. It's about consistently making the choice to obey God in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when there is no applause, and when the outcome is not immediately clear. This is the essence of spiritual maturity. Learning to walk with God even when the path is uncertain, trusting that His ways are higher than your own, and knowing that His plans for you are good even when they don't make sense in the moment. Each act of obedience, no matter how small it may seem, is a declaration that you belong to God. It's a sign that you are choosing to follow His ways even when it goes against the grain of the world around you. You may have experienced moments when you felt pulled in two directions, one pulling you toward the desires of the world and the other leading you toward God's will. In those moments, choosing God's way, even when it's hard, is an act of faith. It's a statement that your heart belongs to Him and that you are committed to walking in His truth. This is the transformation that happens within. It's not about external achievement, but about the quiet inward transformation that is taking place as you grow in your faithfulness to God. This is where true peace is found. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, it is the presence of divine approval. When you choose to obey God in the quiet moments, when you choose to follow His leading, You begin to experience a peace that transcends understanding. It's a peace that comes from knowing that you are aligned with God's will, that you are walking in step with His purposes for your life. It's a peace that settles deep in your spirit, even when the external circumstances are chaotic. This peace is a sign of divine approval. It is the confirmation that you are doing what God has called you to do, even when no one else notices. Heaven sees it. God sees it. And that peace is the evidence that your obedience is pleasing to Him. As you continue to walk in quiet faithfulness, something profound happens. You begin to change from the inside out. Spiritual maturity is not about achieving outward success or gaining recognition from others. It's about growing in your inner character, becoming more like Christ in your thoughts, actions, and motives. And this transformation doesn't happen through big dramatic events. It happens in the small, quiet choices you make each day. Each time you choose to act in love, each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, each time you resist the temptation to react in anger, you are being transformed. God is working in you, shaping you into the person He has always intended for you to be. Heaven celebrates this growth, this quiet transformation, even more than it celebrates outward success. In the world, success is often measured by what can be seen, by achievements, accolades, and recognition. But in God's kingdom, success is measured by faithfulness, by growth, and by endurance. Heaven celebrates the quiet victories, the moments when you choose to remain faithful, even when no one is watching, when you continue to walk with God, even when the road gets hard. The angels rejoice over your growth, over your willingness to remain steadfast in your faith. It's not about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's about continuing to walk with God day by day, even when the journey feels long, even when the way is hard, and even when you feel like no one notices. In these quiet moments of obedience, you are building something eternal. The choices you make today, the small acts of faith, are laying the foundation for the life God has prepared for you. These acts of obedience are shaping your destiny, even if you can't see the full picture yet. God is working behind the scenes, aligning everything in His perfect timing. And as you continue to obey, as you continue to grow in your faith, you are preparing yourself for the greater things that God has in store for you. Your spiritual maturity is the foundation upon which God will build your future. The more you grow in your obedience, the more God will entrust you with. The more you learn to walk in His ways, the more He will reveal His purposes for your life. So, chosen one, take heart. You may not always see the immediate fruit of your obedience. You may not always feel like you are making progress, but know this: God is working in you, shaping you, and refining you. Each quiet act of obedience, each small choice to follow Him, is transforming you from the inside out. And this transformation is more valuable than any external success you could ever achieve. Heaven celebrates your growth, your endurance, and your willingness to obey. And as you continue to walk in faithfulness, know that God is preparing you for something greater. Your obedience, no matter how small, is building something eternal. Keep walking in His ways, and trust that the transformation within you is creating a foundation for a future beyond your wildest dreams. As you continue in your journey of quiet obedience, something profound begins to unfold. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond the moment itself. These ripples, though invisible to the naked eye, are powerful, weaving their way through the fabric of your life, impacting future blessings in ways you may not fully understand now. The small hidden choices you make today are not isolated incidents. They are part of a much larger divine orchestration that God is working out in your life. Each choice to follow His will, even in the quietest and most hidden spaces, sends waves of spiritual energy that will continue to bear fruit for generations to come. This is the beauty of obedience. It doesn't just change you in the moment, it shapes your entire future and the future of those around you. The impact of these hidden acts of obedience cannot be overstated. While the world may only celebrate the visible achievements heaven celebrates, the unseen choices, the quiet decisions to walk in integrity, to choose love over bitterness, to forgive when it's hard, and to trust when it feels uncertain. These acts of obedience, though they seem small in the grand scheme of things, are seeds that God has planted in your life. And just as a tiny seed can grow into a mighty tree, so too can the smallest act of obedience grow into blessings and opportunities far beyond what you can imagine. In fact, many of the blessings that will come to you in the future are tied to your obedience today. The harvest you will reap tomorrow is being sowed in the quiet spaces of your life right now. You may not see it yet, but God is working behind the scenes using your acts of faithfulness to prepare the way for something greater. He is aligning the pieces of your destiny, and as you continue to walk in obedience, you will see doors open that you didn't even know existed. This is the ripple effect of obedience. It's a quiet, powerful movement that is shaping your future, preparing you for blessings that will come in their time. The transformation that comes from consistent faithfulness in quiet moments is nothing short of miraculous. It's in the small, daily acts of obedience that your character is shaped. Each time you choose God's way over your own, you are strengthening your spirit, fortifying your faith, and building a foundation for your future. This consistent faithfulness, though it may seem like a small step, is actually a giant leap toward the person God has called you to be. It's through the quiet moments when no one is watching and the world doesn't applaud that your spiritual maturity is being developed. And this transformation is not just for today. It is laying the groundwork for the greater purpose God has for your life. Every time you choose faith over fear, peace over anxiety, and love over hate, you are being refined and transformed into the image of Christ. The process is slow, sometimes even imperceptible, but each act of obedience, each moment of surrender is making you more like Him. This quiet transformation is what prepares you for the challenges ahead, for the responsibilities that God is entrusting you with in the future. And while the world may not see the significance of these moments, heaven sees every single one. God is watching, and He is pleased with your faithfulness. He is preparing you for the future, shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of the blessings that are coming your way. But this transformation does not go unnoticed by the enemy. In fact, the enemy is threatened by your consistent obedience because it reveals the power of God at work in your life. The enemy knows that each moment of obedience, each act of trust, is a step closer to the divine elevation that God has planned for you. When you choose to obey in the quiet moments, you are stripping the enemy of his power over your life. You are breaking the chains of fear, doubt, and insecurity that have held you captive for so long. Every time you resist the enemy's temptation to react in anger, to give in to fear, or to allow bitterness to take root, you are moving one step closer to spiritual freedom. The enemy feeds on reaction. He thrives on your insecurities, your fears, and your anxieties. He wants to provoke you into making rash decisions, into allowing anger and fear to control your actions. But when you remain calm in the storm, when you choose peace instead of panic, you are denying the enemy the power he so desperately craves. This is why peace becomes your weapon. It's not just a passive state of being, it is a powerful active force that disrupts the enemy's plans. When you walk in peace, you are walking in divine authority. The enemy cannot control someone who is at peace with God, someone who has surrendered their will to Him and chosen to trust in His timing. Peace becomes a shield, a defense against the enemy's attacks. And as you continue to walk in quiet obedience, you will find that the enemy's attempts to provoke you lose their power. His strategies fall apart when you refuse to react in fear, anger, or frustration. This peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God's divine authority in your life. When you walk in peace, you are demonstrating to the spiritual realm that you belong to God, that you are under His protection, and that the enemy has no power over you. Your peace is a testimony to the victory of God in your life. The more you choose peace in the midst of chaos, the more the enemy's hold on you weakens. The more you walk in obedience, the more you reflect God's character to the world around you, and the enemy cannot stand to see the light of God shining in your life. As you continue to walk in consistent obedience, there is a promise of reward that awaits you. This reward is not always immediate, nor is it always visible to the world. But know this: every act of faith, every moment of surrender, and every choice to obey is building a storehouse of blessings in heaven. The reward is not just for the actions themselves, but for the heart behind them. Heaven honors your faithfulness. It celebrates your consistency, and in due time you will see the fruit of your obedience. The blessings that are coming are not just for your benefit, they are for the benefit of those around you, for those who will be touched by the light you carry. As you walk in obedience, you are becoming a vessel of God's blessings, a conduit through which His love, grace, and provision will flow. This reward is not just about material blessings or outward success, it's about spiritual elevation. As you remain faithful in the quiet moments, God is elevating your spiritual authority. He is enlarging your capacity to carry His blessing, to carry His presence, and to carry His purpose in your life. The more you obey, the more you grow in your spiritual maturity. The more you trust God, the more He entrusts you with. This is the beauty of consistent obedience. It leads to greater responsibility, greater purpose, and greater spiritual authority. As you continue to walk in faithfulness, you will find that the doors that once seemed closed will begin to open, not because you forced them, but because your obedience has prepared the way. The promise of reward is not a promise of ease or comfort. It's a promise of growth, of transformation, and of divine elevation. God is preparing you for the future, for the purpose He has designed for you. And as you continue to walk in obedience, He will continue to elevate you, expanding your influence, enlarging your territory, and positioning you for greater things. But remember, this reward is not based on performance. It's based on your trust and obedience. God is more concerned with your heart than your outward achievements. He delights in your willingness to obey, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. And as you continue to walk in obedience, He will reward you in ways that will exceed your expectations. So, chosen one, continue to walk in obedience. Continue to choose peace. Continue to trust that God is working in the quiet moments, shaping your future and preparing you for the blessings that are coming. The ripple effect of your obedience is already being felt in the spiritual realm. The enemy is trembling, and heaven is rejoicing. Your obedience is making an eternal impact, and the best is yet to come. Keep walking in faithfulness, for the reward is great, and the transformation is already happening within you. As you come to the end of this message, take a moment to reflect on the truth that has been shared with you. In the quiet corners of your heart where no one else can see, you have been faithfully walking in obedience to God's call. Those unseen moments, those quiet acts of faith are not lost. Heaven has seen every one of them. Every prayer you've whispered, every temptation you've resisted, every act of kindness, and every choice to follow God's will when the world would have told you to do otherwise, these moments are not forgotten by God. They are stored up in heaven where they will bear fruit at just the right time. And I want to remind you that nothing you've done in obedience to God has been in vain. Heaven has witnessed it all, and heaven rejoices in your faithfulness. God's delight in you is not dependent on the recognition or applause of the world. In a society where success is often measured by visibility, accolades, and the admiration of others, it can be easy to feel overlooked or even discouraged when your acts of obedience seem unnoticed. But I want you to know that God is not measuring your faithfulness by how many people see it, but by how pure your heart is in your obedience. It's not about what you do in front of others, it's about what you do in secret when no one is watching, when the only audience is God Himself. And it's in those quiet, hidden moments that God's heart is moved the most. He delights in your faithfulness, not because it's loud or public, but because it's real, sincere, and born from a deep love for Him. This is the beauty of your walk with God. It's about intimacy, trust, and the quiet surrender of your heart to His will. So I encourage you to keep pressing forward in obedience, even when the world doesn't notice, even when it feels like you're doing all the right things but receiving no recognition. Trust that God sees. Trust that He is working in ways you cannot always see, aligning your steps with His divine purpose. The reward for your faithfulness is not always immediate, and it may not come in the form that you expect, but rest assured, God is preparing something far greater than you can imagine. Every act of obedience you offer is a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. And just as a seed grows in its own time, so will the blessings that God has prepared for you. You may not see the growth right now, but trust that in the unseen realm, something is happening. Heaven is moving, the angels are rejoicing, and God is shaping your future. The beauty of following God's call lies in the fact that His rewards are not always about external success or recognition. They are about spiritual elevation, divine alignment, and the fulfillment of your purpose in Him. As you continue in obedience, you are not just following a set of rules, you are becoming more like Christ. You are becoming the person God created you to be. And this transformation is worth far more than anything the world could offer. The rewards that come from walking in God's ways are eternal. They are the fruits of the Spirit that will sustain you even when life feels difficult, and they are the treasures that you will carry into eternity. So continue on the path of obedience, knowing that you are building something eternal with every step. I want to encourage you, chosen one, to declare your continued obedience and trust in God. It's not about perfection, but about persistence. It's not about having it all together, but about continually surrendering to God even when it's hard. So right now, as a declaration of your commitment, type Amen in the comments below. This is not just a word, it's a statement of your heart. It's a declaration that you are choosing to walk in obedience, trusting that God sees, God rewards, and God strengthens those who remain faithful. Every time you choose faith over fear, peace over chaos, love over bitterness, you are saying yes to God. You are saying, I trust your plan, even when I don't see it. And that declaration, that simple act of obedience, is one that heaven celebrates. It is recorded in the courts of heaven, and it sets into motion a ripple effect that will change the course of your life. Remember this: you are never alone in your journey. God is with you every step of the way, strengthening you when you feel weak, guiding you when you feel lost, and cheering you on when you feel discouraged. His delight is in your obedience, no matter how small or hidden it may seem. You are building something eternal, something that will outlast every trial, every challenge, and every difficulty you face. Keep walking in the light of God's truth. Keep saying yes to Him, and trust that as you remain faithful, He is faithful to fulfill His promises to you. As you go forward from this moment, carry with you the truth that God is pleased with you. He is pleased with your heart. He is pleased with your faithfulness, your obedience, and your love for Him. You are not just surviving, you are thriving in His grace. You are not just waiting for something to happen, you are becoming the person God has destined you to be. And every small act of obedience, no matter how hidden or unnoticed, is moving you closer to the future He has prepared for you. You are walking in His favor. You are walking in His grace. You are walking in His love. So, chosen one, stand firm in your faith. Continue to obey, continue to trust, and continue to declare that you belong to God. Your obedience is powerful, your faith is powerful, and heaven is moving on your behalf. Keep shining, keep walking in the light. Keep choosing God's way, and know that you are not just building something for today, you are building something that will last for eternity. Heaven sees you. Heaven celebrates you. And the best is yet to come.